how to perfectly execute a hit and run. Hello world, my name's Kyle Fischl, and this is going to be episode 53 of my poker vlog. The session that's about this picture here has a great deal of live footage on it, and I'm trying to get it approved by the proper channels within the floor management so this doesn't happen.
Zapped by a cattle.
Hopefully I'll be able to produce that soon, otherwise I may just redo the whole thing with my normal style. We'll see how that goes. Additionally, the pictures of the chip stacks with the little figurine on top is actually a Vinylmation for anyone who cares. They're little collectible Mickey figurines with a variety of designs. I happen to have a collection of them, so I'm probably just going to bring a new one every time I play a session, just as a unique card protector. A final quick note is I have a very unofficial meetup game coming up this weekend. In fact, I should probably remind my dad about it.
This is the most important moment of my life. No one can disturb me now.
Mr. Cortez, your children called.
Hey Dad, just want to remind you that we're playing poker at Orange City this weekend. 1-3 no limit, August 1st, 10 a.m. See you there. Yeah, so if you're in the area, you want to play, be a fun game. Alright, without further ado, I have 4 hands to go over that was quite interesting across my last session. First interesting hand, 2 limps to a middle position player. That player raises to $40. I'm in late position. I look down at ace-king offsuit. I have very little experience playing with the pre-flop aggressor. Don't have too much knowledge of how he plays, so with that being said, I'm going to proceed cautiously against this particular person. So I just call. The button calls and one of the limpers calls as well. It's at this moment where I regret just calling and wish I would have 3-bet to thin the field, but it is what it is. So we're going 4 ways to a flop, which comes ace, king, 10, rainbow. Actually a pretty phenomenal board for me. It checks to the pre-flop aggressor, who decides to check. Now when I flop such a strong hand on kind of a connected board, I want to at least thin the field a bit and deny equity from random queen nines and things like that, as well as I can get value from any ace X and maybe even king queen king jack type hands. So I bet $80. The button calls, which I was not expecting, and the pre-flop aggressor calls as well. So we're going 3 ways to a turn card, which is the 9 of hearts. Kind of a scary card, even though it doesn't change a whole lot. Pocket 9s did just get there, but not many people should have peeled with pocket 9s, so not too worried about it. It does bring a backdoor flush draw, which could make some draws feel compelled to continue, but as played, it's checked to me. I decide that I should not go for 3 streets against 2 players, and with the goal of getting some level of pot control, I choose to check it, and the button checks as well. So 3 ways to a river card, which is a total brick, so happy about that. When the pre-flop aggressor checks to me again, my hand's very, very strong, and I think kind of under-repped. I'm gonna go for some value here. No one should really have king, queen, or a random set, so I bet $130. The button folds very quickly, and then the pre-flop aggressor goes in the tank for a very long time. He looks as though he's thinking about just jamming it on me, which is kind of a weird spot, and I immediately start thinking that I'm just going to call him off if he does. For him to check all 3 streets seems kind of unlikely that he has a hand that's better than mine, so with that in mind, I'm preparing to call it off if he jams. He thinks for probably 2.5 minutes before just throwing 1 chip in, signifying a call. I just show my cards. He snap whips his hand into the muck with a lot of disdain and disgust. So we are off to a very good start in this session. Next interesting hand. With 2 limps to me, I'm on the button with pocket 10s. Gonna size up a bit here, trying to just really take it down pre-flop. I make it $35. One of the blinds calls and one of the limpers calls as well. The other limper folds. So we're going 3 ways to a flop, which is Jack 5-6. When both players check to me, I think I can very credibly rep all over pairs as well as ace jack. As the board is quite dry, there's a high chance that both players just missed and I can just win the hand right now. So I bet $80. Player in the big blind, he chooses to call, and the limper folds. So I'm pretty certain this guy has a jack, and I prepare to just shut it down. But the turn brings a queen. When he checks to me a second time, I think that this is a card where I'm actually good to continue and turn my hand into a bluff. I think betting 2 streets makes it very difficult for a jack to hang on. So we bet $160, making it very difficult for a jack to continue unless he has exactly queen jack, and our opponent eventually folds king jack. So turning 10s into a bluff definitely worked out. Even though we had some showdown value, we were trying to target one hand specifically, we were able to get it done. That was fantastic. Right now, everyone who is watching that video, I would kindly ask you to pause the video, scroll down, and hit that subscribe button.
Call in everyone.
Helps out the channel a ton. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Next interesting hand. There is an under the gun straddle to $10. There is 4 callers to me. I'm on the button with 6-3 of spades. Yeah, 5-1 in position, suited 2 gapper. We are gonna call and play this one. Well, the under the gun straddler decides he's gonna raise. He raises to $40. Very, very undersized if he's going for folds. 3 of the limpers calls to me. I am definitely gonna continue for my pot odds. And literally, if there's so many people that have expressed interest in this specific pot, me having a very low cards should mean I'm likely to be the only one playing cards in this range. So if a flop comes like deuce 4-8, like that should connect more with me than many of the other players. And if the flop is quite high and connected, I can easily just fold. So this hand plays pretty well multi-way. I'll know where I am based on the board. Well, the board comes pretty phenomenally. Jack 9-7 all spades. So yeah, we flopped very, very good on this one. It checks all the way to me, and I'm gonna build a pot here. With so many people in the hand, I don't really expect anyone with a single overcard spade to fold to any sizing. So I'm just going to bet small here and try to build the pot slowly and then possibly size up given safe turns. I bet $80. The pre-flop straddler and 1 limper decide that they're going to continue. The turn is the 10 of clubs. I mean, a straight kind of gets there, but doesn't change my hand value at all. When both players check to me, gonna try to size up a bit. I bet $160, leaving me only about 300 behind, so I'm very committed to this pot given the size that it is and my current stack size. Maybe could have just jammed, but I thought 160 was a sizing that would get both players to call, with me likely still having the best hand, and I could reevaluate based on the river card if I wanted to jam or preserve my last 300. The underline straddler calls pretty quickly, and the limper, he counts out his chips. He only has about $500 left, and he decides that he's not going to call 160 and just leave that much behind. He's going all in right now. I pretty much snap jam because I'm very happy he reopened the pot and gave me the ability to get all my money in now, and most likely give the undergun straddler a full committed pot odds to stay in there. He calls pretty quickly again, and we have some live video.
You got 435. I'm gonna take 435 in. 3, 4, and 3, 5.
About to be 1 huge stack, 2 huge stack, another 3.
Oh, please can I get a 3 of hearts on the river one time?
Oh, I freaking did.
It hurts, doesn't it? You can't believe what fell. All your dreams, just hops down the fucking drain.
What the effing?
6-side flush. Wow, you won. 6-side flush. You hated that river though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Nice straight. Flush. Oh, flush.
There's many spades.
High too. Oh God.
Well, somehow I was good against a flopped set and a turned straight with no spades out there. We got a massive, massive pot playing 6-3 of spades. All right, final hand of note. There is a under the gun straddle to $10, 1 limp to me, and I am in middle position with ace jack of spades. I'm going to size up to $55. Honestly, with a hand this strong, I'd rather just win and take the $27 pot right now. That does not happen. A late position player calls, the straddler calls, and the limper calls as well. So we're going 4 ways to a flop, which comes ace 10 3 rainbow. Because it's a very, very dry board, when it's checked to me, this is one of those times where I'm pretty happy to just expand my flop checking range to include some strong hands so that I don't just check when I whiff every single time. So I check, the late position player checks as well. The turn is the 8 of hearts. Kind of a more connecting card, so when it's checked to me, this is the time I'm going to start building a pot and protecting my hand. Hearts may call, and yes, 10-8 got there, and pocket 8s as well. If I let that get there, it's just part of the risk you take for trying to include some stronger hands in your checking range. But nothing we can do about that now. We're just gonna cross that bridge when we get to it. I bet $95, and all the players choose to fold. I include this hand just to kind of explain a different line you can take when you flop a strong hand. Yes, there is an incredibly large amount of risk in checking when you flop good with your hand, especially the pre-flop aggressor, but it's very exploitable if you don't include any strong hands into your check range. All right, so for this session, we are into the game for $700, and we are out of the game for $1943, and that is across only 3 hours for a profit of $1,243. Being there only 3 hours means it was $414 per hour, or 82 big blinds an hour. Quite a phenomenal session. I'm quite happy about it. Hopefully I get live filming rights soon so that this channel can progress. Remember the unofficial meetup game, Saturday, August 1st. I'm going to be there 10 a.m. 1-3 no limit, Orange City. It's going to be a fun table, and there will be more to come next week. Thank you.